G'day guys, and today Shorty and I are going to do the review, which is between Geelong and Essendon at the MCG. It was the Bombers getting home 80 by 17 points, and the Cats were disappointing for basically 3/4 of the game. And again, another disappointing loss to a side that's, let's be honest, they're a bottom six side in my opinion. Maybe we're a bottom six side with the way we're playing lately. So again, another horrible, disappointing, abysmal, crazy performance. We could have probably felt a lot worse if we didn't actually give anything in that last quarter. Thankfully we did, but that doesn't change how seething we are right now, that loss. You can nearly write the Cats off for anything this year, maybe even top 8. It's not looking very good at the moment. How'd you see tonight's game?
Yeah, mate, not too happy at the moment, that's for sure. Probably the main positive we take out tonight is that I didn't end up going. But,
yeah.
I watched the second half very closely after work. Watched the first half fairly closely because I was not doing much work really. And yeah, it was just awful performance. We just looked the show of ourselves and everything that you sort of associate with Geelong over the past decade was nowhere to be seen. We fumbled, we were inefficient, we lacked players that stood up when it was necessary or when a ball had to be won or a kick had to be made. It was terrible. I think after the first 20 minutes or whatever there, Essendon jumped us and why we were so poor early, who knows. But after that, we had just as much of a share in the match as they did, if not more than them. I mean, I don't know the stats on the time in 4.5, but I would imagine we dominated that by the end of the game. I mean, 1 inside 50s, plus 20 contested ball, smashed them in clearances. But of course, they won playing with a pill and out-tackled us, something crazy. And they're really disappointing. I think the fact that we just seem to again wilt under the pressure, it's so frustrating. And it was damning early when we seemed to just be absolutely under rapid fire pressure coming out of our back line. And they seemed to waltz out of ours, and then
they did.
At about 450, that is. The problem's run deep. I mean, I don't really plan on this curse too long, but you can talk about it for a long time. I mean, there's certainly some massive flaws in our game, and the unfortunate thing is they probably are quite simple, really. We're doing a lot of simple things poorly. It's very disappointing, and there's obviously deeper problems in that too, with defensive structure and the inability to guard the corridor, and all the things we talked about. But certainly, like you said in the last quarter, we probably should have won in the end anyway. I mean, you couldn't say could have, should have, would have. I mean, Essendon were good enough to make it as difficult as possible, and as you said in the text, give us the barest of margins to work with by answering and keeping us arm's length for long enough. And then when we did fire our shots, then in reality, everything has to go perfectly.
Yeah.
And when you fumble a handball at the top of your 50, sometimes that's the barest of margins, and they go down the other end and they kick a goal. And I turned the TV off before it even sailed through. So, extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought, but you might have seen Scotty's press conference before, and he was again probably as angry as Scotty gets. We're just, we're not a shadow of what we were in the first 5 weeks, because we weren't unbelievable in the first 5 weeks. There were flaws there, but plenty more have risen, and whether that's player or system, nothing else has come up to fill the void in any respect. So you're left with a mediocre team with 3 pathetic losses, so it's disappointing.
Yeah, pretty well summed up, mate. I was just gobsmacked. I mean, I expected it was going to be a tough game, but my optimistic self and our optimistic self thought Geelong would be able to get the win, but again, proving not to be the case. The start almost just set the tone immediately. They kicked a goal in about 30 seconds. I thought, oh my God, this can't be happening. I mean, we've had 2 poor losses. At the very least, you could just come out and just, get that first clearance or make that first big tackle. And it was just absolutely horrific, the start of the game. And oh my God, the amount of times they got in behind us, and the amount of times our defence looked very leaky. You said over the text that our defence was like a sieve, and for sure it was. And I mean, it wasn't necessarily their fault. It's the work up the field from the forwards and the midfield. I think at one stage there was not one tackle laid from a defensive player or a midfielder, supposedly something like that. And I think we laid again 12 or 13 tackles in the first half. That's not good enough at all. Like, how do you expect to win a game? And when Essendon are getting more of the footy on the outside, killing it, and they're out tackling us. I mean, that simplistically means that when we're getting the contested possessions, because we have more contested possessions, they're tackling, and that was just ferocious. As bad as we were, it's probably one of Essendon's best games in about 20 years, but really we allowed them to play that way. It wasn't really Essendon were great on the night. Not trying to sound salty out there, people, but it was more so the way in the mannerisms we showed, the lack of pressure, the lack of intensity. So you do that and any team will beat you. It doesn't matter how bad they are. I mean, any team in the comp would have beaten us tonight, I think. So, look, disappointing. We got a lot of the first of the footy, contested possessions, clearances, but Essendon ran out of defensive 50 with absolute ease, with no pressure at all the time and space in the world. They always got that inside kick when we were just too lazy man in the mark. That was so frustrating to watch on that. There's just no pressure at all on them for 3 quarters. Very, very annoying. The tackles, they doubled our tackles, and I think they had a bit more of the ball in the end, but we would have had a lot more of the inside pill. Just fumble at crucial moments, and not only did they fumble, the ball went behind the contest, went out the back, and Essendon, it was a training drill for the Bombers at times. They were toying with us, dead set toying with us. We made them look like the best team that's ever played the game at times tonight. We were absolutely pathetic in certain stages of the game, and for 3 quarters we were bottom 2 side the way we played. Just a pathetic show up. Can't keep napping for 3 quarters and then showing up in the last. It's just not a very sustainable game plan. Our zone, or whatever you want to call it, it's no good at the moment with our lack of pressure from the midfield. I could raffle on and on, but the reality is we had a lot of chances. We didn't take them. Terrible on the set shot tonight. We're just deer in the headlights once the team applies frenetic pressure, and it forever feels like we're still being a team that's still being hunted, like we're one of the best teams in the comp, and these younger sides come up against us and they hunt us, and we just can't deal and cope with that pressure. So it's quite simply a matter of we've just got to come to the party earlier. Actually, and I'm sure it's not as simple as that, but it really is. Like, how can you explain the last quarter? You can 6 goals, 6, and as you said, we should have won. 10 points down, and we kicked 4 of the last 5 or whatever it was, or 4 in a row. And again, Tui fumbles at 55. If he takes that cleanly, he kicks a goal. It's a goal in it, or a kick in it, and you probably back us in from there. So again, it shouldn't have to come down to that last possession. It shouldn't have. We're not blaming Tui for losing, but it shouldn't have to come down to that. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on the review of the game. But just, yeah, terrible signs. You can nearly kiss the finals goodbye, mate, or the Cats season, or any kind of damage. Very even comp, I understand. Giants nearly losing, Adelaide getting smashed at home, and you wouldn't be happy being a supporter of anyone at the moment, to be honest, because everyone's not going fantastic. It's a very, very open season, but to lose 3 against really poor opposition, it's one of our top 5 worst performances in the last 10, 15 years. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, the last 3 weeks as a collective would have to be our worst 3 weeks in that period of time, I would imagine.
Yep.
Yeah, and some of those shots we missed late I mean, just what set shot and just things like that. You touched on the eight situation, and yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go saying we might make the eight at this stage, but I think it's probably fair to say we're not a threat in any way, shape or form. I think we came into the season with hopeful thoughts of a top 4 position, and things can change very quickly, as we've seen this season with, all of a sudden Adelaide, how they've lost these last 2 games to poor sides, I don't know. It can change so quickly. But at this stage, you would have to say we are not a threat or any upper echelon finish. Whether we make the 8 or not, who knows? But who cares really? If you finish 10th, you finish 6th, and there's a final, who cares? I don't think at this stage we're any sort of premiership threat. We're going to have to change something around, as Chris Scott said, just to be competitive. And as you said, just to make the 8, let alone threaten the quality side. So the next 3 weeks will be really interesting because, we play 3 top sides, they're all at home. And, yeah, the pressure's on.
Could lose all of them, could win all of them. That's the kind of side we are.
That's right.
Yeah, again, we'll probably know a lot more in about a month's time. But look, we'll go into the votes quickly. I'll just run through a couple. What have we got? I had a few in mind, so I couldn't really think of anyone to give 3, but I've gone Dangerfield for 3, 30 touches, couple of goals, and 1 tackle next to his name. Very good. They don't tackle very much, those boys, but yeah, look, I don't really feel he deserves it, but he played reasonably well and stood up when things were really cracking. I've given the 2 to Tom Hawkins. He got the 12 touches, kicked 4 goals, was a real presence in the second half and rallied there and did well on Hartley. Kicked 4-3, could have had, probably 5 or 6 if he kicked straighter. And I've given the 1 to Taylor, who got the 15 touches, 4 marks. Took a couple of crucial marks and was good in a few key one-on-ones and looked a bit better down back there. But, yeah, I guess a bit of a shout-out for Mitch Duncan as well. 11 marks for him, so he's pretty good. And Menegola was also pretty solid, rounding out those ones as well. How'd you see, mate?
I mean, I think Dangerfield was 3. I mean, he started poorly, but worked his way into it. And was just the one bloke who just willed himself and was really good. I think Menegola, I gave 2 votes to. He was very good when we were going poorly and faded a little bit late.
Yep.
And I gave the 1 vote to Hawkins. I mean, he missed some shots that he wouldn't normally, but then again, he did step up late and looked lively in the forward line and kicked 4 and took some nice marks, did some nice things. But yeah, there was a struggle to, I mean, Dangerfield can't show away the mind. I thought he was a clear best, but other than that, yeah, the few you mentioned for sure, but you could probably only say there were 5 or 6, maybe 5 guys who would say, 4 or 5 guys who'd say I had a night where I could say I at least was on par. I reckon there wouldn't be many.
Yeah, I could agree with you. Yep. And probably the first 4 on top of that list: Duncan, Menegola, Dangerfield, and Hawkins. Maybe Menzel, but he didn't get much of the footy. Wasn't much of a threat really, but we'll go on to the chopping block, mate. And I think there might be a couple of names that you might throw up, and I've got a big guy in mind. Is on the gun. How do you see the chopping block for this week?
Yeah, well, I wonder if you've got the same guy in mind. Off the top, I think apart from Mark Goodsards to head on out to the 2s.
Yeah, he's my man. Yep. Spot on.
Is he the man you were thinking?
Yep. They're talking about him on telly as well.
Alright, yeah. Well, I didn't hear it on the telly. That's just purely my opinion. I don't know how he's getting the game. I've said in the past that he's not really anything. He's an okay midfielder. He's an okay ruckman. He can play in the back line. What is he? I'm sick of him being in the side. His possession for the last few weeks, 11, 9, 12. Then for the season, he's got a high of 22. He's hit 20 twice.
Yep.
I mean, he's not even getting the tackle numbers. Remember he used to be a tackle machine?
Yeah, in 2015, yep.
Twice, and that's it.
I can see 0 on the paper here.
Yeah, 0 in round 1, 0 in round 8, so, yeah, it's just time. So, probably Scott Soward might be the sort of guy comes in for him. Jake Cole-Jasny, you wouldn't think they'd chop him immediately, but gee, he looks way out of his level really at this stage of the season and his career. Very disappointing. Lonergan, I know they'll keep him in the side, but gee, when he's on those mobile forwards, he struggles. Lynch tore him up, not necessarily in the air. Lonergan took some really nice marks, but when it's on the ground, was he on Daniher for the most part? It seemed like he was in stages.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
It's a long list, that's for sure. Lee Stanley, bit of an injury, knee, will probably miss. They'll probably rest him. They'll probably be cautious. Cockatoo, again, just fails to have enough impact on the game. Parsons is another one who looks better prior to his suspension, and all of a sudden now he's kicked a nice goal, but we just can't afford to have so many just big players who are just guys who are getting not much impact at all. I mean, if you just want to look at a statistical basis, I mean, we had half the team didn't even get 13 touches. I mean, Lonergan 13, then we worked down Smith 13, Hawkins 12, Gibbs 11, Cockatoo 11, Hughes 11, 10 to Stanley, Cole-Jasny, Parsons, 9 to O'Connor and Mendel. That's horrendous. That's just unbelievable. But anyway, O'Connor looked okay at times, but obviously was a bit out of his depth, so I'm not going to criticise him. I'd like to see him stay in the side and get a second opportunity, but
I'd like to see him kick.
yeah.
8 handballs.
In our round 22 side or something like that, but at this stage of the season, give him at least a couple of weeks to make a crack at it. But yeah, as far as guys who come in, I know Selwood was good. I think Wang and Ruggles were reasonable, at least from a statistical point of view. But there didn't seem to be anyone who absolutely shone and said, pick me, aside from Selwood, who was our best. And I think he had 20-odd touches and 12 tackles or something, so...
That's all we need, mate. People can tackle.
Mate, because they swung the axe last week, and it didn't work. There's a lot of blokes who were turned over, dropped, and the response, again, wasn't felt. And like we said last week, I don't really think it's a personnel thing. It's more so our systems factors and getting that right, so... Once we make bold changes again, I don't really think it matters. We've really got to get those fundamentals, systems, game plan in place, or we'll just have another 3 losses. To be as simple as that if we don't correct some of these things. We've had losses against poor, or perceived poor sides, but now coming up against sides that's perceived to be top 6 contenders. So could be in strife if we don't amend a few of those problems.
Yeah, we'll find a lot out about us in the next month. As you're saying, it's really a lot about the mental preparation. Games played above the shoulders. We're a good, on our day, and it should be most games we play, we're a good side. I mean, we've got a list capable, I said last week off the top, we've got a list that's capable of winning a premiership. That's being a bit sort of a bit supporter bias maybe, but really we've got some quality players, and if everyone boosts 5 or 10%, makes a big difference. Like this side is not too dissimilar to last year, and last year we won 17 games, so 18 if you want to include the final. But yeah, looking at those tackle numbers, matey, take a leaf out of Zach Merritt's book. 12 tackles, 33 touches. So that's.
He does it all the time, doesn't he? People might think to say we've got a premiership list. That comment might be a bit outlandish, but I mean, we've got a list that's capable of making top 4, which gives you a very good chance to win a flag. So I think it's a fair call. And certainly we've got a lot to work on, because at this stage it's just so far from what we expect, and it's really disappointing.
Absolutely.
We'll probably get to Friday night. It's a Friday night game, I think, against the Dogs next week.
Yep.
First home game for the Cat, so there's going to be a lot of people coming to that game not knowing what we're going to get, not knowing what they're going to see, and a few supporters that are going to be asking for a bit of blood if there's no poor performance, because it's been all fairies and laughter and sprinkle cakes and muffins down the category for a long time. We just go along and clap our boys because we're so happy. I hate our supporters, and I think we might actually finally see some angry, hungry Cats fans again who may not be putting up with these poor performances, and finally might actually get some atmosphere down at the ground.
Hope so, mate. So, as you mentioned, we got the Dogs Friday nights at Simonds, finally at home again, which is be good to go to a home game. And, as we say, we tend to play reasonably good footy and better footy at Simonds for whatever reason. I don't know, we train there a lot, so get used to it. But, certainly going with probably, next to zero confidence. I mean, I'm optimistic we can beat the Dogs. We defeated them twice last year, and we haven't really played a perceived good side, as you earmarked it before. At this stage, it feels, so it'll be interesting to see how we switch on for that one. I'm going in thinking the Dogs will win, but also I don't expect us to lose. It's a weird one. If I'm tipping, I'm going the Dogs, but I'm pretty confident that we can actually respond. Confident, maybe a bit strong, but I've got good faith that we can respond and beat the Dogs. Good record against them, but we have a good record against Essendon as well. We've only lost to them twice in the last 11 years, so there goes my confidence out that we know there, mate. But Dogs by a few goals, I suppose. It'll be a tight game, no doubt, and it'll be whoever wins will be well deserved victor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Dogs are a side that their, curve in performance is one of the more consistent. I mean, you talk about our up and down curve from our best and worst. The Dogs is probably one that stays relatively consistent over the competition, so you got to beat them. And you can't go in with too much confidence at all, obviously. We have certainly, at times, we are a far better side at home. So sometimes we'll be in poor form, and then all of a sudden we return home and we just play the ground so well that sometimes we've been a little bit wrapped up in how good we are at Simonds in comparison to other venues. But I wouldn't be shocked if we're sitting here next week having won, because like you say, we have the players there, a good record, and we're at home. A place that the Dogs have found it very tough to win. But I couldn't go in with anything more than supporter optimism.
Yeah, optimism's the word.
You got to have it. I mean, a supporter without optimism lives a very dull life. If we were realists as a supporter, there'd be a lot of people out there who wouldn't rock up to the game. But as supporters, you swallow the bad performance. Midweek, you're up again. You're thinking, gee, maybe we can turn it around, and you just got to have that. I mean, it's the coach's job to think realistically and work it out. We can only roll up and assess it and hope that we get something better than what we had the last 3 weeks. So we would have to say that as long as I can remember, you have as little an idea of what we're going to produce as ever. We just don't know. So who knows what we're going to produce in a day, mate?
About as predictable as the weather, mate. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do get 4 seasons in one game, don't you, for the Cats?
4 quarters for 4 different results.
Yeah.
Well fronted up, mate. Good stuff tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't keen, was I, mate? But at least we won't have to do it tomorrow.
No, thanks for that, mate. I was thinking far out. I'm gonna have to relive this again tomorrow. Don't do this to me, please. He's come through for me. Good stuff, mate. Thanks for that. Awesome. All right, that's a review from us, guys. A pretty salty review. One of the worst losses from the Cats in over the last 10, 11 years. So, as you can probably guess, we're not too happy about it, and probably won't sleep too well tonight. But we'll front up again next week, and hopefully the Cats just get a little bit hungrier at Simonds. Home game, fresh, good record against the Dogs, and hopefully just get the season back on track. I've already earmarked us not to make the 8, but we'll see what happens there. We'll just take it week by week like a coach does, and hopefully deliver something a bit better next week. But yes, that's it from us. Feel free to subscribe. Darijoe will have the goals up at some stage soon, so I'll tuck that link up once he's done that. And feel free to share it around, subscribe for more stuff. It'll be awesome. Thanks for hanging around, guys. Catch you next time.